It's confirmed, folks. They've officially been unleashed as Darko Rajaković has officially taken all the restraints, all the restrictions off the young players. And frankly, for better or worse, I'm excited to see how things are shaken out. So we'll discuss that, including Immanuel Quickley having one of his better games since returning, and one development regarding Scottie Barnes that, frankly, I believe is getting overblown, but is a major topic of discussion for a lot of Toronto Raptors fans. So lots of stuff to break down in this video. But folks, as I mentioned this morning, you guys have been crushing to hit that sub button. All the new viewers coming in as of late, appreciate every single one of you. But we are very, very close to 37,000 subscribers. So we're about 92 away. So if you guys haven't hit the subscribe button just yet, one of the new viewers that want to stay up to date with this new era of Toronto Raptors basketball, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button because we're delivering daily Toronto Raptors coverage. And Super Bowl is just an hour away, but we got to talk about some Raptors because this game, while it did end up being a loss against the Houston Rockets, it confirmed a lot of things for this Raptor squad. So the Raptors ended up losing 94-87 to the Houston Rockets. And frankly, this was an ugly, grinded out game, but there were a lot of positives to take away from this one. And I want to start off, before the Scottie stuff, before all that stuff, the Shedheads got to unite, folks. The Shedheads, the folks that are excited for the young group, the young players out here on this team, we are pumped up because Jamal Shead tonight, in only 19 minutes of action, had 14 points, had 2 assists, looking confident with that 3 ball. He's firing them up at will. The intensity he plays with on defense, this dude is a beast. This dude deserves a ton of praise, a ton of credit. And as we're discussing, young guys getting unleashed. Of course, Davion Mitchell ended up getting traded at this year's trade deadline to the Miami Heat. So now the full reins at the backup point guard position have been handed to Jamal Shead. And we've seen the development he's had just over the course of the season. I think the biggest one, of course, has been the confidence he had shooting the basketball because we knew coming in from college, he is already one of the best defensive on-ball guards out there in the entire NBA. He's scrappy, he's intense, he's a great decision maker. He's a little bit older compared to a lot of rookies, so he already has that maturation. And going back to Houston where he played college tonight, against the Houston Rockets, he was just ready to go. He was locked in, poised, confident, taking the right shots, whether it was, catching. And we saw Jamal Shead, because again, the question mark this season was, can he shoot? A smaller guard needs to be able to shoot. He'd hesitate on some of the threes, only take the ones that were wide open. He's catching and firing away right now for this Raptors team, and that extra step of confidence, that extra little boost has gone a long way in terms of not only his percentages, but just unlocking the rest of his game. Because as I mentioned, he can facilitate. He can do a lot of things out there on the offensive end. We know how good he is on defense, and I said, coming into this season, Jamal Shead was a steal, but I expected him to be more with the G League at the start of the season. Over the course of the season, I expected a lot from Jamal Shead, essentially being this a full development year. The same way Fred VanVleet, his first season with the Raptors was a development year, a lot of time spent with the 905, developing that jumper, but Jamal Shead is already proving he is a very, very strong backup point guard in the NBA, and just has me excited about where he's going to be able to develop into. So big positive there, but it wasn't just him in terms of the young guys that got to show out, play really well. Jonathan Mobo tonight, no center, no Jakob Poeltl out there, so Mobo's having to play up a size, up a position. Of course, Şengün ended up getting hurt early on in this one, but still 10 points in this game. 10 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 blocks from Mobo, 4 nasty blocks as well, I might add. Some of them were very, very just disrespectful, so to speak, and 3 of 10 shooting from the field, but all of his shots inside the paint. We'll talk about the 3-point shooting after, but all of his shots inside the paint looked awesome, looked exciting, looked great stuff for Jonathan Mobo. And of course, with Kelly Olynyk gone, with Bruce Brown gone, there's more minutes opened out there at the forward position, so Mobo's out there in the starting unit. And now with Jakob Poeltl out of the lineup, he's getting some extended run, and you see why Masai Ujiri was so high on selecting him, with the 30th overall pick. So lots of rookies getting run tonight. Jacoby Walter, again, continues to look smooth, continues to look confident. 10 points in this one, 3 rebounds, knocking down threes. Went shot for shot there for a little bit with Jalen Green, which is a tough task to do, especially when he was cooking out there in the fourth. So Jacoby Walter continued his ascent and staying on track for the rookies. Jamison Bell didn't have the greatest night. He missed a lot of his shots and got a couple fouls and stuff, but I'm not too worried. Jamison Bell was taking the right look, still looking confident, wasn't hesitant like Matt Thomas's of past. When they're open for 3, they're not hitting, they just stop shooting. Jamison Bell kept shooting, which I look at that as a positive. But lots of exciting stuff there for this entire Raptors team. But one thing I do want to bring up and discuss is Immanuel Quickley, because he's been a major talking point for a lot of Raptors fans, because, of course, he's one of our bigger contract guys, one of our highest paid players. Immanuel Quickley is a player that, frankly, we have high expectations for, and he hasn't lived up to those expectations, and I've been given a pass because of injuries, and, of course, he's still in a minutes restriction. He didn't play the late stretch of this game, but I thought this was one of the better Immanuel Quickley games since he's returned from action, and it wasn't perfect. He did miss a ton of shots, but was able to knock down some threes, looked a lot more confident, poised, and, had 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal in this game, did have 4 turnovers. It wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but we want Immanuel Quickley moving in the right direction. It feels like for the past, since he was acquired to the Toronto Raptors, he's been in and out of the lineup, whether it be due to personal reasons, due to injuries, due to whatever the heck it is. And Quickley is a guy that needs more reps as that starting point guard, because you see it. You see it, how quick he can let that three-point shot fly. He let it fly from anywhere. He is a good facilitator. He's pretty athletic. He can play defense. He can do a lot of positive things out there, but it just all needs to come together for Immanuel Quickley. So the more reps that he gets, the more positive these things will end up being. So that's the main stuff on Immanuel Quickley. I'm not too stressed or anything like that for Quick. Orlando Robinson, again, people are looking at him now as our new two-way guy. He doesn't really have a bag out there underneath the paint. I do want to be honest. He did knock out a 3, which is great to see, but had 9 boards. Like, he is there as a solid rim presence, as a third-string big man. Now, I think he is great as a third-string big man, but, of course, he needs more development out there in his post game, because he gets blocked a lot. His footwork looks a little bit clumsy, but he does bring the hustle, the energy, and the effort, which is a positive. So that's one thing on Orlando Robinson. But I left this guy for last because he's the guy that I think a lot of people have been throwing shade at, criticism towards, and I don't necessarily agree with it, and it's Scottie Barnes. Because Scottie Barnes, of course, in the fourth quarter of this game, took over. He was hitting some shots, was getting to the basket, was doing all the right things, scoring at will. But over the most of the game, he's settling for three-point shots, and the number that's getting ran with a ton by pretty well everyone at this point is the three-point shooting, specifically from he and Mogbo, as both those guys went combined 0 of 14 from the three-point line, 0 of 8 for Scottie Barnes, at 15 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds, and people are like, oh, Scottie, you're settling, you're doing this, you're doing that. Of course. What does Scottie Barnes need to develop? What in his game does he need to improve on? Shooting. If he can become an elite three-point shooter, have an elite midi, if he can really take that part of his game to the next level, Scottie Barnes is going to be a superstar. Not all-star. He's already an all-star. He will be a superstar if he could become an elite three-point shooter. So in a season where we are trying to capture a flag, we are open about a rebuild, we're open about all of this, why on earth would Scottie Barnes and Jonathan Mobo, for that matter, obviously less high upside, it feels like, for Mobo, even though I think that upside is still really ridiculous, why on earth would you want Jonathan Mobo and Scottie Barnes, who aren't like Ben Simmons of the world? You've seen them have games where they hit shots and they do their thing out there from behind the three-point line. The same thing with Ochai Agbaji, who was a really bad three-point shooter last season in terms of percentages, really disappointing. People were criticizing, Ochai Agbaji shoots too much, he needs to slash, he needs to do this. And then Ochai, again, it's a bad example of tonight, but Ochai is one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA right now. Why on earth will we not want Scottie Barnes to shoot the three ball? Of course, if it's next season, Scottie's still a 27% three-point shooter, and we're trying to win, we're trying to compete, yes, Scottie Barnes needs to stop eating up threes 24/7. I agree. But we know the direction of this team. We know where this team is going. We know how valuable actual NBA reps are to a guy's development. Why on earth would you not want this guy to fire up a ton of three-point shots? Again, you don't want him to build bad habits. You don't want him to... I get that. But if he adds that to his game, we are banking a lot. We pushed along. We absolutely sped run this rebuild, which I'm happy about. But a lot of it, I don't want to say all of it, but a lot of it is banking on Scottie Barnes becoming, one of those top tier guys in the NBA. If he can't shoot, he's not going to be a top tier guy in the NBA. He'll be amazing. He'll be an all-star. He'll be wicked, but he won't be a top tier guy. With that jump shot, Scottie Barnes could be that superstar, that top 10, top 5 player that we're all hoping he develops into. So, let him develop. Let him develop. Let him shoot. Stop tweeting at me, Scottie Barnes needs to shoot less. He needs to do... Let him develop. Helps with the tank. It helps with everything we're doing. And next season, we'll start really judging where Scottie Barnes is at with the jump shooting. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. I might have to make a whole video on that, but let me know what you guys think. Anyways, you guys are the best. Okay, we are very, very close to that. Let's get that. I'm pressing the wrong buttons here, but we are very, very close to that 37,000 subscriber mark. But anyways, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that sub button. Absolutely messing out this outro. You guys are the best. I'm signing out. Cheers.